Hey, hey, we are live.
Not
We are live. So welcome,
to the scene 757
locals,
locals
only.
only.
Ah.
We're back.
Hi, we're back
Get
on.
over here.
Hey, we were just talking to the owner of Lindy's Cafe where we're at.
By the way, reporting live from Lindy's Cafe. 20
Loud Lindy's Cafe.
Yeah.
Loud Lindy's Cafe.
20 years in business, folks. 20 years of serving some of the best wings known to mankind and the world, of course. Thank you, Kent, and the Lindy's family for letting us come here and do this today. Of course, it's great to be back on location instead of being,
Location.
Yeah.
So cheers, everybody.
Cheers up to Monday.
Yep, up
Absolutely.
to Monday.
We got Jake Dog back on the helm.
Yeah, we
over
got
here.
Jacob back with Critical Computers. So thank you.
Absolutely.
So,
and this, I don't mean to just jump right in, but this is
jump right in.
Arch versus Arch. I mean,
Arch,
this is
Arch versus
well,
Arch.
no, this is the episode for episodes. Right? Put your gloves on. But no. This is the husband and wife, ex-wife.
Yeah,
Show.
it's probably something you haven't done before. Yeah.
This is the first. Yeah, this is truly. Yeah.
I remember when David Letterman invited his ex-wife on. It was cool.
Right. So that's what we're going for right now. We're going for that kind of vibe tonight, and we're all about. Go ahead, talking to Mr. Steve Archer.
Yes, and I imagine you should ask him the questions
I should, however,
because I know some of the answers.
Right.
So I would win the test.
By the way, what's the name of the song, real quick, in the background going on?
Black Betty.
Oh, Black Betty. Oh, she got it before you did. I'm sorry. We take away your trump card, buddy.
Hey, you have
I
to
won.
understand
There's
my
music being-
deafness.
Well, this is true. This is
Yeah.
true. Speaking of deafness,
Oh, really? Hold on. What?
Let's talk a little bit about, for those who don't know
We don't know.
who Steve Archer is. Let's just say, anybody tuning in right now, a lot of musicians, of course, know who Steve Archer is, but who don't know, let's start from humble beginnings, and I'll just interject wherever. How did you get into music? When did you start playing? What drew you to music? What were your inspirations, first of all? And when did you kind of really start the onward trajectory of what you've done as your life's work?
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah.
It is a
Take
lot.
some notes here.
a lot.
I'm from Norfolk, born and raised in Norfolk, Virginia, and still a native Norfolkian. And I grew up in a very musical family. My dad was in the choir. My mom was, she used to be a show gal. She was in dinner theater and stuff like that, and dance, and music was always around my house. I have two sisters. They really weren't musical, so I was kind of the person who my mother lived vicariously through. Once she got out of showbiz. So I started taking drum lessons when I was 8 years old. Got my first drum set when I was 10, and I went up through school band, junior high school. I was in marching band, jazz ensemble, symphony orchestra. I also was in chorus. So I was in music and I started playing professionally when I was around 15.
That kind of, to me, puts you at what I call a child prodigy. Now, I wish I would have started that. I started playing drums at a young age, but I never really, you're saying professionally at 15, like paid gig at 15.
Yeah.
That's pretty intense.
Well, my first paid gig was, I was a choir boy. I was a male soprano, 10 years old. Hallelujah! At St. Paul's Episcopal Church in downtown Norfolk.
Okay.
And it was all male.
All right.
All male choir. And some of the guys they had there were actually amazing Juilliard trained basses and tenors. Which of course, at 10 years old, you have that high soprano voice.
Sure.
So a buddy of mine said, "Hey man, you ought to try out for this." He said, "We get paid." I was like, "You get paid?" So I went out there and did my little audition with my
Right.
little soprano voice, and,
Right.
and I sang with that choir for probably about the better part of a year.
Okay.
And so that was my first paid gig.
First paid gig.
First paid gig.
So it's a church gig, and a lot of great musicians, as we know. I mean, that's the origins. A lot come from that, or and
Did
That's right.
that, Sandy?
Yes, I did.
So-
Yes, I did know that.
So speaking of what-
Amanda on here said that she used to call you Steve the drummer. Amanda, you know Amanda cuts my hair. Amanda Bullard
Oh yeah. Very cool. All right.
Hi, Amanda.
Batten.
So
Amanda Bullard Batten.
back to when I was a kid, there was a band I heard a lot of talk about on a radio station called K90. Remember K94? Does anybody remember K94?
Yeah.
There was a couple different bands that got a lot of airplay, and one of them was this band by the name of The States.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit how that formed, what happened.
Well, okay, you're skipping over some
Okay,
other things.
all right, go
but-
ahead, bring me
but,
back.
Okay, I'll take you back a little bit. Just to go through the chronology.
Yeah, closer.
Yeah.
I started playing professionally, and actually some of the first bands I was ever in, I was the only white guy in the band.
Okay.
And I started playing with what ended up happening was a gentleman named Lennis Guess, who had hits in the 60s.
Okay.
He was from Norfolk, Virginia. He had a hit called Working for My Baby that was actually a regional hit, and he's actually appeared on American Bandstand.
Very cool.
And later, so when I was in high school, he came to my high school, Granby High School, and they were looking for musicians that they could train. Said, "Now let's get us some young people to get in the studio and learn how to play, i.e., not pay them.
Yeah.
Let's to work for cheap."
have some
I did.
talent.
I
So,
forgot about that.
but for me, I just wanted to play so bad. So I went down there. My dad drove me to downtown Norfolk,
Okay.
and a room full of black dudes.
right.
Wouldn't be done today.
Right.
I was in rarefied air. And my dad said, "Well, he's a good boy. You guys look after him." And they were, to their credit, they were so professional. And so they were teetotalers. There was no messing around. And from that, I ended up playing with Lennis Guess in a band called the 35th Street Gang. And then,
Wow.
and we played, and we backed up all the artists that he had in his studio. Also, because of the connections he had, I ended up going on the road with the Original Showmen, which were the surf band.
I've heard, yeah, this, yeah,
It's the
exactly,
beach music
yeah.
band.
Beach
You
music.
with your 39, 24, 40 shape. All that, the steps. there.
Right.
So here I am playing on bills, like when I'm in high school, with the Drifters and Sam and Dave and the Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs. And so I got a really early indoctrination into playing professionally and not just do the usual garage band thing.
Gotcha.
So that was a lot. And
Well, you
honestly,
got kind of thrown into that.
well, yeah, and aside from the not getting paid a whole lot, but the experience to this day is invaluable. And I still the guy that was the bass player for the band that I was in, a gentleman named Maurice Glass, was literally my first real mentor.
Okay.
And he's still around. And I'll every time, years later, I got a chance to actually thank him
How
for
cool is that?
being.
Very cool.
I said, "I just want to thank you for taking the time to take this young little white piece of." They called me turkey meat, by the way, because they said, "Steve, you're so white, you look like turkey meat." I'm not lying. Everything I'm telling you is true. So, but going on, and they were all like, 10 years older. They're in their late 20s, and I'm in high school.
right.
So, but they were such good musicians, and they looked after me. And he mentored me and taught me how to really play.
How cool is that?
And this is pre-disco. So
Can
we
I
were-
call you turkey meat?
Huh?
Can I
Go ahead, say something.
Can I call you turkey meat?
I said, "Could she call you turkey meat?"
Huh?
Yeah, you know this story already, baby. Anyway, so he really mentored me, and I got a chance years and years later to thank him for being such a good mentor to me. I said, you didn't have to do that, but you did. And he was like blown away that I, you know,
The impact of somebody.
yeah, yeah, still to this day.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And that's back to giving back
Mhm,
to the next
absolutely.
generation.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Mhm.
Very
And
cool.
now
Now,
when we
Now.
play, I'm playing in the 35th Street game, and I'm playing at an outdoor gig at the White Heron in Virginia Beach.
I remember the white herring.
You remember
White
that?
Yeah,
Heron.
So we're
Liz
doing this
Hudson
thing
sold
for
it, by
it
the
used,
way.
it used to be called the European Health Spa.
the
They had a
European.
man with a
They had the
glove.
Nautilus Center down there.
Yeah.
Yes, Nautilus. Wing
Anyway, so
Center.
I play
That's
in,
interesting.
on another on the bill is an all day thing. Another band was called Whiskey Train, and they
Whiskey.
were Whiskey Train, and
What's wrong with that?
had the a guy named Keith Matthews, which everybody
Keith
knows is Matt,
Matthews.
Oh,
Fat
okay.
Matt.
The Matt.
and,
So-
Matt.
and Billy
Fat
Bat.
Matt.
oh God.
And Jimmy Ray Dunn, James
Okay.
Dunn, the brother of Mark
Mark
Dunn,
Dunn.
your first guest,
Right.
and some other players. But anyway, that was the first time that I ever met Matt. So we met that first time because he borrowed a phase shifter,
Okay. Which was a big deal back in the
a
day.
Muchon by phase
I remember the
foot
Mutron.
power.
What?
For like the size of the menu. They were
Yeah.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah, like this. And so he borrowed it to play some Robin Trower. So when I gave it back to him, that's the first time we met. So subsequently, that would be with Matt and Billy Bat and Jimmy Ray Dunn, James Dunn. That would be what would end up being the core of Bubbit, best
Okay.
unknown band in town.
Best unknown band in town.
That's how it started. So, and then we got a girl named Robin Stanley, and we went through some metamorphoses. And then, but anyway, subsequently after that, that's out of Bubbit is when I joined States.
Thank you because I thought it was States first.
No,
Then
no,
what? Okay.
No.
Love it first.
So I went through the soul band, the funk band, the old surf band,
Yeah.
to Bubbit, then to States.
By the way, I just wanted to mention.
I'm
'cause
paraphrasing a lot.
I like this a lot because you mentioned Matt, Matt, and
Yeah.
and it's and he was. We'll talk more about him later and the influence and that he played. It was
Yeah.
one guy who I got to see a little
Amazing.
bit when I was getting into the scene. I got to witness his playing and all, and just taking away what he brought, and of course we'll talk about his passing. And
Yeah, well,
talk about
and
later.
we ended up, we being together in several other bands.
Other
later on.
bands, yes.
We played together for. We'll get to that.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But the States, yes.
States. So back to the States. They were on the K94.
States.
It was like, I mean, think about this. This was like,
What year was that?
84?
What year was that?
Well, they were the first band from this area to get signed to a major record label.
Major, yeah.
So, and I was with them from 82 to 84. I played on the last thing they released. There was a compilation album, and then subsequently out of States. And I had a great time playing with States. I mean, they were all a lot older than me and still are. and
What was the drummer before you?
the drummer for me was a guy named Morgan Hampton.
Morgan Hampton.
And I took a lot of cues from him. He was such a great player,
Yeah.
real animated, had tremendous stage presence, solid as a rock. So I was taking over some really big shoes, filling in for a guy like that to come in, and honestly, I didn't have the same background as those guys
Okay.
because they were very Beatle influence and British invasion.
Okay.
So, and 10 years older. So my influences, I just come from the band that the Bubbit. And at that time we were playing we had a guy singer. So we're doing a lot of Van Halen and Ozzy and
Wow.
AC/DC and stuff like that. So whereas States was was a pop band, in the vein of like the Cars. So, but States had a humongous reputation,
Huge reputation.
up and down the East Coast. And so I was really taking a step up professionally.
Was there a song called "With the Heartbeat"? Was that?
No.
Okay, maybe that was
No, they had Saturday Night and
"Dream Come True."
Yeah, picture me with you.
Sorry, is it online somewhere?
That was
Oh,
that
yeah.
was the 80s.
Yeah.
Everyone.
You know all that stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's online.
It's in the 80s. Yeah, look them up.
So
the
listen,
States.
so that band breaks. It hits its me or its bell curve and breaks up, dissolves. if you
Yeah.
will.
Like bands do.
And then what happened?
the remnants of that, myself and David Waltrip, who had replaced Butch Germano, who was the original bass player, who ended up for health reasons becoming my manager for the next 7 years, who I miss very much. God rest in peace, Butch Germano. Germano. And anyway, so we formed myself and David Waltrip, who took his place, and Steve Chandler, who was the original rhythm guitar player for States. We formed the band Wild Kingdom with the late Dale Mendenhall.
Oh yeah.
And we hit the ground running. We really did. And the 80s were a blast.
I saw
within-
the signs of Wild Kingdom when I was 19. I had moved here for a short brief period, and their
a lot of people,
banners
still
were
reminisce.
everywhere.
A lot of people still reminisce about the band. We had a great time.
Wild
We worked
Kingdom.
very hard. We were on MTV a couple of times.
You were on MTV. That's crazy. I mean,
I'm not real comfortable hearing some of the stuff.
no, it's all good. It's all good.
The late great Carol Taylor, the DJ for FM 99, she called us inane. She said our lyrics were inane. I can't really argue with her.
Yeah.
It was not exactly profound stuff, but we had a great following, and we had some great songs, and we were really, really close to that brass ring record deal.
So with that said, I got to ask you this, because I can't help but think about the name More Music. How did they play into this at all? Out before any gigs?
Well,
or
Kathy Moore,
yeah.
Kathy Moore. Well, it was Cellar Door first, and then
Correct.
Kathy, then More Music. But Kathy Moore, absolutely instrumental to, I think, not my career, but everybody else in town.
Yeah, Kathy.
I mean, for
God rest her soul.
decades, Yeah,
Right.
I love Kathy. We had our differences over the years, like any booking agent and band does.
Right.
But she was a powerhouse
And
in this area, and she's missed by a lot of people. I mean, her celebration of life ceremony at the Norbush proves that. So, yeah.
Right.
Anyway, yeah. So
Okay.
that was, anyway, that's it is kind of cool. So I was at this point. I'm hearing about this band, that band, that band. So what from the dissolve of states for whatever reason, because bands come and go. Now, what is Steve Archer? How does he reinvent? Reinventing yourself is key. How do you reinvent yourself?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, at Wild Kingdom, we did a lot of really good. Within 30 days of forming, we were opening for Boy George and Culture Club. We played with some huge acts. The Culture Club, Till Tuesday, Squeeze, Smithereens, Producers. So when Wild Kingdom broke up, I had a kind of like, what am I going to do?
Right.
What am I going to do?
Right.
Right.
So
now what?
So I played sat in with a few bands, did a little bit of a Van Halen tribute with the band Eruption. They were called Vandrix back then. They played Van Halen and Hendrix. So
was Noel and that guy? Noel?
not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah. Not
And,
yet. Not
then-
yet.
I was living at the oceanfront, and I get an opportunity. Buddy of mine, I was like, I'm really between bands. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm thinking about, am I going to leave the area? I got an offer to join Nantucket. I don't know if you remember the band. Yeah. The lead singer called me. They weren't offering enough money, and they wanted me to relocate to Raleigh, and I was like, I'm not feeling it. And but so because right after the Wild Kingdom, I was kind of like up in the air. Who am I going to play with? So I started getting some calls from bands saying we need a drummer and stuff, but it wasn't anything that I was feeling. So I moved to the oceanfront, and I lived there with my girlfriend at the time, and a buddy of hers said, "Hey, I'm working at the club." This was the former Country Comfort. And
Anybody remember Country Comfort?
Country
I think
Comfort.
right off Pacific Avenue.
Yeah.
I used to drive by with my parents.
So
I remember it.
he said, "Hey man, they need a band,
I didn't live here then.
and it's got new ownership, and they need a band." And so I called up my partner Matt, and who was playing with. We'd already played a trio band with myself and Billy Bat called Bam Bam, Bat Archer Matthews, BAM. And it's kind of like the Jeff Beck Guitar Shop album,
Very
based on
That doesn't suck.
It was awesome. Probably one of the most fun bands I've ever been in. And I'm trying to cram all this in here because
Yeah, I
it's a
know.
lot to say.
It's a lot.
But
It's a lot.
anyway, so I call up Matt and I said, "Hey, we got a gig." He says, "What do you mean?" I said, "With who?" I said, "With the band we're forming."
With the band we're
he
forming.
goes, "What band?" And I said, "The band we're going to have to form right now to play this gig this week."
And how did you dream this up? Because this happens a lot, by the way. In case you didn't know, this kind of
Yeah.
spontaneity.
True story.
Yes.
So, and then I think Matt said that he was talking with Tony about getting a jam band together. And I said, well, and so I called him up and said, "Hey, are you interested?" And he said, "Yeah." And then I called up Andrew and I said, he goes, "What about the bass player?" And I said, "Well, what about?" I said, "I'm going to call Andrew McNeely." He goes, "Well, he's playing in Sea of Souls."
Right. Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, but I don't think they're ready to play out just yet." So he calls him and Andrew says no. And
Andrew, you
he
said
called
no?
back. He goes, "Yeah, Andrew said he don't want to
No.
do it." I said, "Give me his number." I told him. I called up Andrew. Goes, "Tony's not lying." He goes, "I thought for sure he was bullshitting me."
What band? Okay. So this turns into, at this point, SOS.
No. This isn't a band yet. We're still getting playing. So I told him. I said, "Tony's not lying. We really are." He goes, "I thought he was lying. There's no way you guys are all playing together." Andrew and I had already talked about being in a band for years. That if we ever got the chance, that he and I would be a great rhythm section. And so we get together. We just rehearse for like a couple hours one day, a couple hours the next day. Our gig's Friday night. Okay, well, this is like Wednesday.
And what gig is it?
I love it.
And then we're
What
thinking,
gig?
and Matt and I are going, "What are we going to call ourselves?" And at the time, I don't know if you remember, there was a lot of bands called the Blues Exchange, the Blues Defenders. There was a Blues this, the Blues Brothers. So we just said, "We'll be the Lords of the Blues." And we go, "Well, just take the S off the Blues." So then we were the Blue Lord. That's how long it took to say exactly how long I told him to.
And this is the first time I've heard this evolution. I did not know this, by the way.
So our first gig, our name's on the marquee, the Blue Lords.
I think
Andrew
I knew.
McNeely goes, "This is the first time I ever went to a gig not
Why I'm
knowing what
quiet.
band I was playing." So here's the thing. Andrew was 6 months away from playing with Sea of Souls. So I said, "Hey man, if it lasts past the summer and you're ready to go play live with Sea of Souls, we'll get another bass player if we're still a band." 25 years later,
If
we were still a band.
Okay.
So Andrew, and subsequently we had probably at least over a dozen bass players in the years we were together.
Incantation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So Matt and I, if you look at the chronological time when we first started playing in 1977 to when we actually finished playing, we actually played the better part of 30 years together.
I was only 9.
So Matt was my partner for so
1977.
many years. And I still miss him. I miss him to this
I
day.
was 9.
And he influenced so many guitar players in this area.
We talked
Mark
about
Pat
Dunn.
Pat.
Yeah.
Mark was one of his sons. Noel Winslow.
Oh, Winslow.
I mean, there's so many guitar players out there. Richie Shar.
Sharp.
Richie loved
Yeah.
that. And
I'm just doing a little narration.
he was just and he was my partner. And, I've never really truly filled that void. I've had some play with great players, yourself included.
Oh, stop.
It's okay.
Oh, stop. Oh, stop.
But no,
I'm like
You
chopped
stop.
liver. You go with me
Oh,
when you got
stop.
No,
nothing
but
going on.
no.
Oh, stop. Come
Yeah.
on. Oh,
There's a
stop.
lot of great players
Come
in
on,
this area, but Matt was my partner, and he was a brilliant guitarist. And
Yes.
it's a shame his
Oh,
health
who's saying
problems,
hey?
caused him to
Hey,
leave this
Benny.
world
Hey,
too soon.
Deanna.
Right.
But
I'm just
but I
saying
miss
hi,
him a
y'all.
lot.
He made a heck of an impact. Like
Yeah,
a lot of great
Matt.
members. Tony.
Rest in peace,
it's
Matt.
so when I met you, Steve Wiley. It was like I used to go. By the way, I used to do the first open mic I ever did was the Beach Grill open mic, and I used to go in there on weekends, and then Blue Lords would be playing, and that's when I called the Lords of Blue.
Okay, if you're out there, do you know
Yeah.
the Blue Lords?
Right.
Say yes if you know who the Blue
even,
Lords are.
while I was, the Blue Lords were still playing,
Or
Sea of
were.
Souls, back in 2013, they took a hiatus for a long time. Andrew
Hey,
left
Michael,
the band,
how's it
and then the
going?
band was non-existent. And then Noel Winslow and John O'Neill called me up and said, "Hey,
I'm going to switch
Andrew
over to Scene
it's getting Sea of
757.
Souls back together. We want you to play drums."
How cool is that?
Yeah, this is 2013, so 11 years ago.
By the way, Andrew kind of gave me my first startup with mics. Shout out to Andrew, Mr.
Andrew.
McNeil.
Andrew.
Yeah,
Hey, Andrew.
yeah.
And
we got a lot of fun
CSOs.
stories with SOS and Andrew.
Yeah, he just won
Yes,
an
you
award at the Veer.
He did win an award.
What
Yeah,
a-
but you sure
Yes, he
did.
did.
Good, well deserved.
Congrats,
And you know
Andrew.
what? Here's the thing: is when he calls me and I said, "Well, how soon are you gonna you guys want to play?" And this is like August, right? So he said, "Oh, probably not for another 3 or 4 months, 5 months." I said, "Okay, fine." Sandy calls me and said,
Hey, Aaron.
"What do you
What
call
is
it?
it?
Do you know you're playing at the Norva?"
Oh, yeah, yeah.
She calls me and said, "You're playing at the Norva."
How did
I
that
go,
happen?
"When?"
How
In
did I know?
September. I said,
Oh, my
I called him and
gosh.
go, "What happened to 4 months, 5 months?" I said, "That's next month." I said, "Now, I might
Because I was
know
in charge of
3 or 4 songs
admin.
from back in the day that Sea of Souls used to, but I don't know 25 of them."
That's probably how that happened.
So here I am. I've got to get all, so John O'Neill, Rest of the Soul, gives me all the material, and I'm just writing out charts.
Right. Charting.
Because I don't have time to listen to these songs 50
Chart
times.
out cliff notes. Right.
So I'm,
Exactly.
so I'm writing out charts. And Andrew, the first time we rehearsed, Andrew goes, "What is that?" I go, "Well, that's your song." He goes, "I've never seen anything of mine ever
That's
written
exactly
out
how I do
before."
it. Same way we call it our own cliff notes. We build our own cliff
No,
notes.
these were actually notated charts.
Right.
Yeah, and it was yeah,
Yeah, we
cool.
understood. Oh,
Yeah.
so-
yeah. I because I wanted to stay true to the album.
Well, hey, see,
And Bill
757.
Adams is a great drummer, and I didn't want to just go, "Oh, let me just wing it." You know, I wanted to stay true to the integrity of the songs that he written. The guy's got 5 albums out, you know, but we got a show at the Norva, so I don't want to fuck this up.
No, definitely don't want to mess that up. So let me ask you this.
Excuse me,
So-
I'm not.
no, you're fine. You're
Okay,
fine.
it's fine.
So what?
Well,
what
you're the
happens-
guest. You're allowed to talk
Yeah.
more.
So what
Just saying.
happens when let's say the Lords of Blue dissolve, and now what?
Good question.
And by the way, I'm gonna make a blanket statement. Also, you're a singer in this band.
Right.
You know, you're saying. I mean, it's obviously Tony saying. I mean,
I've always been a singer.
but you know, so it's a group effort. I mean, I'm all about the team effort, but a drummer that sings, I think, is pretty cool within
Yeah.
itself. I mean, Phil Collins.
It is.
anything-
I started doing it. When I was younger, out of necessity.
Right.
Because you know, and I always tell this to all of my students, and we'll get to that in a minute. I always tell this to all of my students: the more you can do with your band individually
I have to do
makes
that.
you more valuable to your unit.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, if you take 2 musicians side by side, they both equal on every point. They both can play the same, but one of them is a really good singer. Which one are you going to pick? You're going to pick the one that can sing, because that's one less guy you got to hire to sing now.
Right.
So the more you can do,
3-part harmonies are better than one.
Absolutely.
You know, there's no question.
but you know, getting back to after I
Can you see that?
was in the Blue Lords, I've been teaching. I started teaching years ago, and then when I met Sandy, you know, one of the reasons why we met was I was teaching. We met, and I started teaching her son, and it's always the funniest thing
Yeah,
is,
watch out for
is that
those
our
drum teachers.
wedding reception
Just saying.
dinner. Her son gets up and plays and says the best speech of all. He goes, "Well, at first I thought it was kind of weird that my drum teacher started dating my mom." And that
Yeah.
kind of just put the room out. But anyway,
Yeah. So Mark Dunn is on here, and he said that you sang "Beautiful Girls"
yes,
with Bubba.
yes, I did.
So say hi to Mark.
Hey,
Mark
Mark.
Dunn. Mark
Just
Dunn.
seaside singing,
Mark
just smoking
Dunn.
and drinking on Wingside on top of the world.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was teaching, and when Sandy and I got together, we the first thing she says is, "You don't charge enough." Says,
True
"You
story.
charge more. You're
Very
worth- you're
true.
worth
I
more
was
than
like, $25 for an hour? That's ridiculous. You're raising your rates.
that." You got to tell everybody right now.
Well, that was back then. That's not. I
It's
mean, by
25
today's
bucks.
terms, that's $100 an hour.
But here's the thing,
It's
and I want to say
ridiculous.
this about this woman here, okay? Because this would be, if I didn't say this, this would not be a complete podcast. When we got together, you know, she was very. I've always been a drummer. That's usually been my whole pie, right? teaching was just a little slice of the pie. You know, mainly my whole identity from the time I was a kid professionally has been that of a drummer.
Right.
But when I started teaching, and she started encouraging me about lifting my profile as a teacher and stuff like that. And then one time we get a call. I say we get a call to be a summer camp director, okay, at
Yeah.
the Jewish Community Center.
Jason.
And I'm thinking, okay, you want a music director or something? They said, well, it's just little kids.
No.
We really need a drama director.
It was like drama.
And I said, drama? I said, what do I know about drama? And she says,
He knows
what
drama.
do you say? She said, you're the
Anyway.
biggest ham bone I've ever met. in my life." She said, drama.
Exactly.
She said, I said, but I don't know how to do this. So what does she do?
I made you a huge manual
makes me
about
a
that
huge
big
Folder
a
of
curriculum.
children's drama workshop according to age groups that I just could walk in there and go, flip a page, go, oh, this is great. So I go,
remember
okay,
that.
kids, here's what we're going to
Shocked
do.
you remember
Now
that.
she took the time to do that. I would have never done that. I would have never been able to go into to venture into even summer programs.
Can I tell you something? I mean, I'll stop you. Can I tell you something? That's what I call a keeper, Steve.
Anyway,
Hold
so,
on.
but here's the thing. When I do the summer camp, all of the other directors are saying, I don't know what it is you're doing in here, but these kids
Y'all
are
are gonna
coming
get
out of your camp
your
shot
money
out
for
of
this
a
one.
cannon. So they all wanted to borrow the book
Yeah, quit.
that she printed up for me.
because you
Because right.
Yeah. So
So in other words, I should have been the teacher.
Yeah. By the way,
Commercial break?
Yeah, no, not a quick.
I should-
Hey,
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
look at the sexy man in
What do I
Dale
look, the
Earnhardt
light?
shirt. Yeah, right there. That's
Yeah.
Daytona
Camera
500,
is.
in honor of Dale Earnhardt today. I'm Kent, the proprietor of Lindy's.
Thank
I'm assuming
you.
we're live. Come
Yes.
try the wings.
We are.
Absolutely. The legendary wings.
Thank you.
How many years
for
of business
hosting
you been in
us.
business, by the way?
Appreciate it.
Lindy's, let's go through the whole timeline. Lindy's opened in 87.
Right.
I started working here in 93. So did Joanna, my business partner. We bought it in 2000. So we've been owning it for 23 years plus, 24 years. Yep.
Wow.
And we've both been here almost 31 years.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
You're owner.
Hence the gray hair.
It's like, yeah, well, there we go. And family man and great guy. And also, Ken does a lot of outreach in the community to the armed service and also, of course, law enforcement and 911.
March 2nd, we have a poker run coming up. It's for Law Enforcement United.
Nice.
That'll be an event right here in the parking lot. Motorcycle run leaves here, does a poker run, and they'll be coming back. I can get you more details. I can give it to Brian for his next
Yeah.
podcast. March 2nd leaves out of here. Fundraiser for Law Enforcement United.
Yeah, come on.
And
Please
it'll be
support
right
that.
here at Lindy's. I believe
Please
that's
support that.
Saturday or Sunday, March
Right
2nd.
on,
Yeah.
Do you have any entertainment going on at the same time?
The next event we don't have any bands scheduled other than Brian Dunn is coming soon.
Brian
Brian
Dunn.
Dunn. We haven't
Brian
John
Dunn.
yet. So,
Yeah.
I've been trying to
he's
get
a
him to do
house band.
I'm trying to get a country western thing going on. He just does not agree. Maybe blues. We'll settle on the blues. Yeah. But we do have karaoke March 16th.
I heard that
That's a
was big.
Saturday night. Yeah, this past Saturday was packed. And then March 17th is our big St. Patty's Day party. Joanna's cooking all day long.
Yeah,
We have
that's
corned beef and
legendary.
cabbage,
Yeah,
the
Melissa.
shepherd's pie, the box.
Nice to see you here.
We
Thank
usually
you.
sell out on that day. And it's a Sunday this year, so it's gonna be packed. It's supposed to be crazy. Get here
Awesome.
early.
Okay.
Thanks for
Thank
listening.
you.
Thanks for doing it here tonight, Lindsay.
Yeah. What's your favorite wings here? What's your favorite?
I'm a killer barbecue guy.
So
so you like the
if our
barbecue.
guest,
All right.
Mr. Archer, were to like,
We heard that your wings
Should I go
are.
get
Yes.
some wings? You try them on air?
Yeah, that's what he said he
Let's try
would.
one air. Do you want
He
to
would
try?
go. He would go.
Why not?
That not suicide.
No, it's a
No,
little bit-
no,
little bit
a
heat.
little bit. Heat.
Sure.
Just a touch of- There we go.
All right.
I'll do a review.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Look at that.
Make sure
You want a wings on air? We got wings on air.
Wow.
Stevie went wingy.
All righty then, kids.
So where were we?
Yeah, back to the camera. See right
Okay,
there.
Stevie wants wingies. That's where we're at.
Ex-wife. So anyway, because of her doing that with that first summer
Curriculum,
camp,
sure, yeah.
I got invited to put together what was my School of Rock summer camp. at Norfolk Academy.
Wow.
And I did that
It's an
for
open door.
9 years at Norfolk Academy, and then 2 more years at Norfolk Collegiate. And then I was asked to be the director of the School of Rock of Norfolk for a couple of years. So I wouldn't have been able to do any of those things if it wasn't for her, if it wasn't me. I want everybody to know that.
Well,
So for that, I will always be grateful to you. I love her.
Dang.
She hates
Hats
it.
off.
So, Steve,
So,
what brings you to Plastic Eddie? By the way, Eddie Leaning, they love you, man.
That's right. Well,
I think
here's
my
the
mic's
thing.
frozen.
No,
it's
after
not.
the Blue
I'm just-
Lords broke up,
Probably
I
good.
took a
kidding.
little
It's
hiatus.
a little
I've
cold
been
here.
a praise and worship leader in church for a long time, been 20 years now. So I was still doing that, and I did that at Vineyard Community Church, the Seven Cities Biker Church, Christian Embassy Church, and now I'm at Bay Lake United
Sorry.
Methodist. But
I'm the comedian.
and a lot of other players in town, including some of the guys you had on here. Paul Urban is
Paul Urban,
he
yeah.
plays in worship, and
Yeah.
Internet drummer Timmy Felton.
internet
Sammy,
drummer.
Sammy.
She
Hey,
calls
Tim,
him internet drummer because we found him on the internet.
Yeah,
She goes, internet drummer's really good.
Dude, Timmy is.
It's the Nature Shot. Yeah, Timmy does. Shout out to my brother. He's my
He's
drummer
in
too,
Nature
Steve
Child.
Archibald.
He's in Nature
Yeah.
Shop.
But he plays praise and worship. So a lot of musicians play in praise and worship bands also. And so I was doing that and just took a break, and then I finally
I'm getting text.
said I want to form my own band. And then the first person I called was Richie Shar, and because I wasn't going to do a cattle call. And then I called my former student, Jake Foltz,
Oh, okay.
who I started teaching when he was 10. And that's another thing about the summer camps and teaching is that I've been able to been able to teach and mentor hundreds of
Yeah.
kids that have gone on to do some
It's
incredible
really neat
things, you
to
know,
watch them all grow up.
albums and film
Shout out to
scores.
all
and
you guys.
one of my kids is the lead guitarist for Jesus Christ Superstar touring right now.
What?
Yeah, Jacob McCormick, my
Yeah,
boy.
Jacob.
Very cool.
But Jake was my
Yeah, and you go. I known them since they were this high.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
yeah, Jake
You're like,
Jake sat in with the Blue Lords when he was 12.
What?
Oh yeah. And I remember Mike
And what about Grant?
Mike Swozy, our bass player at the time, he goes,
Don't forget about Grant.
okay, I don't know. I get all that. But I remember
Hey,
Mike
Grant.
Swozy going, I just got my ass kicked by a 12-year-old.
Remember that? And what's wrong with that? I mean, it's
What's-
gonna happen.
and what's wrong with that? But anyway,
makes you wanna
so
tighten up your chops.
when I get with my band, the first person I call is Jake, but I called his dad. Like, can Jake come out and play? And
Yeah, how out of yeah, it's
well,
like
he had a little bit of layoff because I'd helped him form the band Carbon Jam.
Carbon Jam.
Yeah,
Yes.
I worked with a lot of kids and a lot of bands. Anyway, so I've got Jake in my band, and he played with me for a couple of years, and now he's with Anthony Rosano and the
The
Cockaloos.
Anthony Rosano.
Yeah.
Conquerors.
So when you have your kids and they stick with it and they got that passion for it, and it's just always, I mean,
It's
I've
really
been
cool to
blessed
watch.
beyond measure
I love
of all
watching
the
that.
kids that
Yeah.
that we have helped. You helped.
So Grant
And
And Austin
used
Taylor.
to come out and
Yeah.
see the Blue Lords at age 10.
Yes, I
So, yeah. And then Relin, don't forget
Relin.
Ellen.
Relin
Yeah.
was just some of
A lot
his
of
prodigy
kids,
Then there was the day I was leaving the smokehouse cooler on on Sword Drive, and I looked over and I saw Steve and Wiley playing with this guy named Ed Sinner, and they were playing this. They
I
were
think he's
playing,
still in jail.
yeah, probably still in prison.
still in prison.
Sinner, the
prison.
Sinner, and they were playing in memory of was it no what it was an Allman Brothers song. It wasn't in memory.
No.
It wasn't Liz
It was-
Yeah.
but
J-Mo was there, right?
J-Mo, yes.
J-Mo was there.
You guys were
Yeah.
rehearsing that song. Ron Gary on keyboards.
Right.
And I walked past you because I was playing acoustic, and I was like, I look in, I'm like, that would be one hell of a rhythm section if I got them into my wheelhouse. So that's anyway. So we and I reconnected.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
my, that was quick.
Oh, we're
look
gonna
at
do
that.
I
on
might need a beer to
air.
wash this down.
Oh, well,
Oh, thank you.
yeah, why not? Lights all the way around. Yeah.
Good.
Hand me that roll of paper towel.
Yeah. We're not going to eat on stage. I mean, like on air, are we?
Oh yeah, I am absolutely.
Okay.
We got to get the review.
Yeah.
There you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're doing, I mean, this is a first. I mean, an
This is the first. We've
on-air
never.
wing test.
I am to the
usually
celery.
do
I am
a
into the
on-air
foliage.
beer
Well,
or bourbon
cleanse our
cup,
palate,
but
right, with
today
carrots.
it's gonna be wings. You behaving?
Now this is my favorite. These are my faves.
All right. So, any of you guys had these wings at
I have.
Lenny's? Let me know in the comments.
So we'll take a pause for
So
the
we're gonna
music
take
for
a-
the wings. So
Yeah, yeah.
All right, you
I'll,
ready?
I'll
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
while
ready?
we're doing it.
Here we
One,
go.
two. I'm going with a flat.
What,
Flat
I'll
with
talk.
these are the what flavor is this?
This is called the killer.
The
Oh,
killer.
it's the killer.
All
I
right.
used to get these grilled, but
So I'm eating the killer
killer.
wings from here at Lindy's. So we're gonna try this out.
He better make a good face. That's all I gotta say. He better make a nice.
by the way, great fry on that.
See,
Good
it
catch up.
takes a lot to eat on air. I mean, it's kind of gutsy. A lot of people don't. While they're eating, I'm talking.
I got to tell you.
Got it.
I got to tell you.
Tell me,
Oh Lord, here we go.
They-
Oh
They
Lord.
got this going on here.
is it going on?
Uh-huh.
Is it going on? He said, "Hey, tell Kent. Kent's right
Oh,
here. Put
tell
some
him.
beers on my
There's the proprietor.
It's a great fry. It's a great crisp.
a nice crispy
Thank
fry.
you.
They ain't playing.
Thank you.
They ain't playing with them
Oh.
wings.
Bro,
He ain't playing.
That's
All
how
right.
his reviews go.
Hey, you're getting lots of hearts and you're getting lots of you
This is
know,
really good.
great.
my God, Kent, thank you.
That is so nice.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
These
So
are really, really good.
tell him. Say it
I
again.
mean,
Look at there he is.
I love it. I love
They're
it.
great.
This is nice.
Yeah. And this is
Great
just,
crisp. The skin's great, crispy, and sauce just perfect.
by the way, shout out to Joanna,
Yeah.
Anthony back there.
Yeah,
Amy
thank
back there
you. Thank you
hustling
guys.
always. All the staff, all the bartenders, anybody who works here for Lindy's, man. And of course the patrons that come here. Big Dave. You know, you got some regular fixtures here at Lindy's too.
Yeah.
So this makes it truly a hometown
I love
cool
it.
place just to hang.
You know, people.
Really, you built Cheers in a way with wings. And the wings don't suck. So there's
No.
so there's that the wings.
The antithesis.
Yeah.
But no, their reviews
I
are
love
really
it.
good.
Yes.
My
Yeah.
peanut gallery is on
Yeah.
my texting.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I gotta
texting
give
people.
them, I don't know if it's 10 out of 10, but
Now-
I'll give it 9.5 out of 10.
Oh,
Mark just said something about dancing days too. I mean, he's just throwing it all out there.
Dancing Days, is that
Yeah,
one?
that's what he said. I don't know. I'm just looking at comments. I mean, people are commenting.
Well, Mark's awesome player. Matter of fact, we had a little thing getting ready to get going. We have played together on several occasions. So
I see the
Monster
beverages
guitar
all the way
player.
around except for me.
and he definitely
I love
he,
you,
Matt.
he said
I
you
love
played
you.
the ocean too, right?
Yeah. I played it.
Yeah.
No.
I'm not saying that.
By the way, Jacob,
Anyway.
J Dog behind the camera tonight. Would you like
Jacob,
audio?
thank you.
With
Critical
Computers.
computers. He,
For all your
he
computer
is-
needs, check us out. We're
yeah,
also
he's-
critical,
he's
but we
your
know
tech
computers.
guy. He is your dude.
Would you like to try one of these wings? Oh, absolutely.
Oh, see, they're
Yeah.
all doing wings.
And I'm over there.
Somehow,
Yeah. Yeah, get you some.
Well,
Get you a
I'm
flat
not
or a
because-
point. Yeah.
I'm on a
These
It's
are
the
good.
first time we've ever done this.
plant-based thing.
Yeah,
I think you should make it a tradition.
So, are we having fun?
Yes, I'm.
Are we
enjoying
having fun?
it. I'm
Everybody's saying hi.
and it feels so good.
Good Lord, help me.
I was almost traumatized by that. What was that?
She was okay. Hang on, let me get something.
Anyway.
and so
Anyway.
so
I
like I
don't
was saying
know.
about Jake and
What-
all
and they're-
the
I
other
mean, what
students and
happened?
stuff.
I'm a blue sheet
Um,
guy.
Hello, hello, everyone. Are you still there?
Is anybody watching at all? Yeah. So back to
A lot of people
So I've-
have got like wild faces right now. I don't know why. I
can't
do know
imagine.
why.
well, they
It's
reunited.
like a
with-
traffic
I do know
accident.
why.
You can't turn away.
I know.
Actually, our viewership just doubled.
Ah,
There you go.
Wings.
There you go,
No.
baby. High five.
Oh, as you were, why are we high fiving?
Viewership.
Viewership for Wing.
I think that's why they're tuning.
That's what
in.
he just said. Oh, look now. Oh, there we go. Wing.
well, you didn't have to do that.
Thank you.
Thank
That was
Ken?
very nice.
Thank
No,
you. That
he
is a
wanted
sexy glass. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Look at that. That's a pretty
Look,
sexy glass.
I'm sorry. What?
It's iced tea. It's little iced tea. Yeah.
Yeah, well, burn my eyebrows off.
You didn't see that.
So anyway,
So
talking
anyway,
Nobody's
about,
helping.
so
me.
you asked about Plastic Eddie.
plastic. Oh,
I'm
I'm over
plastic
here
Eddie.
on an island.
I I was playing with my band, but I didn't really form the band to go play a lot of gigs. I didn't want to play all the time. So I you know, like I told the guys in the band, I said, we're going to play when we want, when it's the money's good, and the gigs we want to play. So we did a lot of outdoor stuff, played a lot at the ocean front. Didn't just do
No,
the
thank
hop
you.
around the club thing. Okay,
No thank you.
which was fine. So which left me some open dates, and then Eddie called me and said, "Hey man, we need a drummer," and I forget what we were playing with some. So I just started doing some dates with them, and at one time
And by the way, they played at our
they
wedding.
played at our wedding.
Did they really?
They certainly did.
Now, who was
Shout out
drumming
to
at the
Les
time?
Spaghetti.
Curious.
I think
Played at our wedding.
I'm not sure.
Well, I remember from Mike Moscow's band, the Barflies, by the way.
I might be wrong. It might have been Adam Cherry, but I'm
It
not
was-
sure.
It
I
was
know
at-
Ed, but Rob Perez and Eddie.
Oh,
were
Rob.
there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's what the core.
So anyway, I played with them, but I played with a bunch of other bands too, because I was only playing with them intermittently. And at one point, even while I was in my band, within
y'all
a
wanna
2
come
month
up here and
period, I
have some
played
wings?
7 different bands.
Now, does that make you technically a band hoe at this point?
I've been
or
called that.
the band hoe.
I tend to call it a working professional.
You said the what?
A band hoe.
No,
They're a band hose.
Oh, excuse me, a working professional.
Yes.
A working professional. Yeah.
No comment.
So, but there's something to be said for the cool thing about is that, by the way, there's Jacob. There's plenty here. Is that
Jake,
you can
have some more, Jake.
you've played so much with so many different styles and types of music, 80s, 90s. I mean, think about it, 2000s. So now it's like,
Oh, we're almost at time almost. We're getting
What?
there. I know we got 10 more minutes.
the moment. So for
Sorry.
you to go with a guy like Classic Eddie, by the way, you're able to adapt and overcome very quickly because you're familiar how to process the regiment of the set list and then add your own thing and then follow. You know what I mean? Saying that's another good thing about what you know how to follow what's going on stage versus just get lost in your own world. And I think that speaks
that's
volumes about
one
your.
of the things that when you teach, you tell your students you have to listen to what's going on around you.
Just don't get lost in what you
I don't
do.
care.
Right.
Don't get cosmic on me. That's what I call it. Don't get
And
cosmic.
it's easy to do.
Don't get lost in what you're doing. But the thing is, when you do that, you listen to what's going on around you. Not only that, but I've been playing a long time. So over the years, I played all these songs at one point in time. And if it's something that I haven't played, but I've heard it, I can pretty much.
Tell them about what you see when you hear a song.
You tell them.
No, he's got a
I
cool
like it-
story
I
about
like it
this.
better when you tell.
It's called synthesis, something. Okay, you'll have to look it up. It's like he can see the notes dropping as it's playing. He can even see the bars, right? And the clef notes and
Something
the
like
yeah.
that. She asked me one time, how do you
It's kind of interesting.
How do you remember all these songs?
Yeah, how do
play
you
all-
know the notes?
We were watching something, and believe me, I am not a prodigy. Okay, prodigies are these little 4-year-old kids that can play like Rachmaninoff. Okay,
Right.
but the only thing about a prodigy is you can only do it when you're young. And I used to tell this to Grant Austin Taylor. I said, when you get older, you join the club with the rest of us, pal, and we're out to kick your ass. I said,
That's so
you're not a
wrong.
cute little kid anymore.
That's so wrong.
But it was true.
Well,
But
He's
we
still
were,
a
we were
cute
watching
kid.
some show, and there was this little Asian kid playing piano, 4 years old, and they had a graphic, and they showed the notes circling around his head.
Yeah.
And I said, "That's what it's like." She goes, "What?" I go, "I
music.
see the notes." So
That's
so
crazy.
that's just, and it sounds weird, but that's
No, not everybody knows.
I had a
Not
jazz guy
everybody
teach
does
me.
that.
He said, I see music like colors.
Yeah.
He goes, you've got only 6 in your box right now. I want to give you 24.
the big fat ones, right?
Yeah. I want to give you 24. So you start studying with different guys, as you know. By the way, I remember hearing you play a swing one day, and I told you to this day, I forgot what it was. You just broke it in the swing beat, and I'm like, dude, you could play. I called you on the phone. I said, you could play anything you want. Remember that conversation? We had a conversation. I driving back from somewhere.
Well, not
I was
any-
like, I said, you're pretty limitless. In other words, you're not just a rock guy. You're not just a pop guy. You're not just a one-trick pony as far as styles. So, despite Steve Archer being Steve Archer, who I love, but you
There were two I love yous.
no, I'm just saying with the
Not
flowing
three.
locks. By the way, if you've never seen his fan, it blows. His hair blows back like Jesus, and his hi-hat sizzle.
Jesus. Don't you blaspheme in here.
So yeah. So no, you're good at adapting a lot of styles just because of your musicianship, and there's a lot to be said for that.
I appreciate it.
And that's what that word. By the way, musicianship I learned from a guy named Andrew McNeely, what it means, and watching Andrew McNeely, and just
He's a great musician. Great
yeah,
song.
yeah.
Yep.
So anyway,
He's
how we
always
doing on
cool.
time? How we doing on
How
time?
we're good.
Dave
We're
Leonard
good.
said,
We
how
got
doing on time?
we got about 10.
We got 10.
We got 10.
Okay.
So
Plenty wings. Go ahead.
all right. So now that you're in these different bands, do you have plans to do something else? Any new projects? Anything like that?
I'm in talks with some other players about reforming my band again.
Seven Nation Army.
Unfortunately, we had some health issues with other guys, so
Steve Archer Band?
I pray for those guys. And,
Right.
So kind of I had to put that on hiatus for a while. In the meantime, still I look at my schedule like this. It's church, teaching, gigs. So
Yeah.
I've been able to, and I work with an event planner, do weddings and stuff. I do a lot of things. I mean, if you're going to play music, as well as I do, buddy, you got to do as much as you can to keep the revenue coming in.
Yeah.
So are there any new artists that you're following that are kind of new that you could like throw out there to our audience to check out that maybe you think they're kind of unheard of?
You're probably asking the wrong guy because I don't go anywhere.
No, I mean just anyone. Doesn't have to be somebody local.
I don't know. I can't think of anybody right off the top of my head.
No,
No,
just Leonard Skinner and ZZ Top.
I don't know. I don't listen. That's not really what I listen to. That's not really what I
Ew.
listen to.
There's so many great musicians. By the way,
I
there's
know.
a lot of great musicians in this town. When we saw Maria, we were introduced to a couple that night, which we've got coming on the show. And, it's just like, I think Virginia Beach in general is a plethora of stuff, as you know.
Yep.
You live there.
Oh, there's
Marie.
so many good players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back, you said Bill, Beatty? Bat.
Billy Bat.
Really bad.
I didn't know who this guy was until I walked to El Giardino.
I was gonna say, have you been to Oral
I walked to El
Giardino?
Giardino's to have dinner one night, and
Yeah.
this guy, who I don't know, gets up on stage and plays Chromatic Fantasy on violin,
Oh yeah.
and then does play that funky music on White
He's a
Boy.
freak of nature.
He,
when
and
Matt-
so if you've never been to El Giardino's to see him,
He's a treat.
Anyway, I could imagine that's like the dream team.
Well,
He
Yeah.
gets up
No.
and he starts playing the violin.
Amazing.
when Matt and I and Billy Bat were playing, we had a trio. We would go, how many people in your band? We go, well, there's me and Matt and Billy's right brain and Billy's left brain.
That it sums it up. Really, Billy is that freakishly. I sent him emails.
He's
fanboying
amazing.
the guy. In like the
amazing.
90s, I'm like,
Hope
dude,
you're watching,
I've
Billy.
never seen anybody
Hello.
like you in my life. So back to a Virginia Beach guy who's been at El Giardino's 30 years?
Yeah.
I mean, like
I don't know if it's a long time.
20
He's
years
had the
at
house
least.
gig
Yeah,
for a
he's
while.
had that house gig for a while.
So
a
Steve, is
great
there
guy.
anybody you want to shout out to, like
yeah.
in your bands in the past or
I
anyway?
want to say, speaking of Billy, I'll shout out to his wife too, Tammy.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I've been really blessed to play with a lot of really great players over the years. I mean, tremendous
Yeah.
players that have all had an influence on me, and we've all been able to do this journey, and I've been extremely blessed to do what I love to do for a living, and being able to do that and keep integrity with it, and be able to touch lives and work with young kids and mentor people to this day. So, and I've seen it come back to me so many times, tenfold. So, one thing I hear a lot, and it's like, man, how come you never made it? And I go, well, I've had my rock star moments, but
Every day, every minute you're on.
but the thing is, one of my drumming heroes, Terry Bozzio, said this, and he said, if you play the music that you love to play with people that you love to play music with, and you enjoy what you're doing, and you are getting paid for it, and you can pay your bills with it,
There you go.
you are by every stretch of the imagination a successful musician.
Terry Bozzio, who played for Frank Zappa
Yeah.
and many others. I
But-
mean, yeah,
but it's
legend.
the truth,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
It's a hard living. I wouldn't trade anything about it, because I've been able to live my life as a musician and make my living as a musician.
Which segues me into my next question. Back to
Sex ways.
sex
indeed.
ways. So back to the whole Grand Funk Railroad song. Is it booze and ladies to get you right? Because you got to go on the show tonight. Is it an American band? Keep you right. Yeah.
Booze and ladies.
Is that mythology or is that reality? Is it booze and ladies to keep you right? Or
In reality, probably when you're younger.
I mean,
Yeah,
like
I mean,
Steve
every-
Archer
every-
now. Is it booze?
No. I'll you know, what makes you say that, man?
I don't know. I'm just like, I think of that song and it's just like,
Booze and wings keep you
you're
right.
We got to get on the show tonight. We are an American
Well,
band.
that's that. You know, you got to be.
I just look, Sandy's over here dying. I'm sorry. I just
No.
the mythology.
I've had
This
my,
reality.
I've had my forays, that phase and chapter and season of my life, but that's that's past me.
That's a whole nother podcast.
I mean, I've been playing all my life, so fill in the blanks.
Phil, I like that. How we doing on time, as Dave Letterman would say? We got 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Okay.
I'd say you filled in enough blanks.
I see. I said.
By the way, there are more wings here. The wings are good. We're gonna kill. We're gonna kill the killers here in a minute. They've been marinating.
Hey,
in their juices.
whatever.
Just saying. They
So
are-
all
they are
right.
pretty damn
Well, we're about to
Anyway,
wrap it up.
anyway.
Anything else?
Yeah, even though we share the same name,
Do we?
you did upgrade in the last name department. It's a long way from Schlottman.
That's subjective.
Sandy Archer is a pretty cool name, right? Anyway,
It's what's on my passport until I change it.
I see. Anyway, even though you broke the lock, even though we're not married anymore, I still love her very much. So, and she's a big part of my life and always will be. So, and that's why we're able to do this, right?
Yes. Comprende.
I know you. She was a little worried. Don't lie. You were. Yeah, you were.
No, I wasn't. I mean, I'm in control of this somewhat. So
You don't have a mute button.
Oh no!
actually,
this
we
is-
do.
Oh,
I can just give Jacob the whole.
the high sign.
Well, before we
Jacob.
leave, I will take
Jacob,
one
sorry.
last bite of the
Jacob.
snow.
No. We're gonna kill. Look, I hate to see food go to
No,
waste.
But thank you guys who watched tonight. I know.
Real quick,
it
I got
wasn't
my
as
10,
probably
my
exciting.
breakdown, my 10 questions. I'm gonna make them up right off the top of my head. Stream of consciousness.
Okay,
Are
here
you
we go.
ready?
Go.
Zildjian or Peisty?
Huh?
Zildjian or Peisty?
So,
Rapid fire.
so
Promark or Vic Firth? Okay. Speed King or Ludwig?
either. I used to use them when I was little, but I use Camcos and Pearl.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So paying gig or teaching?
They both pay.
Oh, good answer. Blues or rock?
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
But I love the blues though.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't consider myself a
I
blues
love
drummer.
blues.
Right.
I'm a rock drummer. I'm a funky rock drummer.
Funky rock drummer. Got it.
All
What
right.
kind of hair product do you use, sir?
Bathing.
That's
All right.
always
well,
good.
I'm just gonna leave that alone.
Bathing's great.
If you go by the 80s,
Yeah.
Pro.
when we were
Pro.
flammable,
What are you talking about? Pro.
Anyway, the 80s. You look at the 80s pictures of me.
Yeah.
We were flammable.
Lamb-
We were flammable.
Let's find some 80s pictures and post them this week.
He's got plenty.
I told you,
And I'm selling vintage Blue Lord shirts, by the way,
Yeah.
if you want one.
they're still available.
Vintage.
Lords of Blue, it's up to you.
Yeah.
Those are good shirts.
That's what I
Yeah.
used to tell myself.
If y'all want to buy one, hit me up.
Yes, they were good. That was a good logo. It looks better with the word blue on it.
All right.
Okay,
I
we
thought
are
it was
going to
police
end
related. I
that
didn't know.
on this note. Thank you for coming on for us, really,
Steve,
seriously.
thanks, man.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank
hey,
you. I appreciate it. Anyway.
Hey. Oh, there you go. Don't be a punk. Punk me out. It's all right. Punk me out.
Bye, y'all. I hope it was fun.
Bye, everybody.
Was that-